Kygo has gone from bedroom producer to one of the most hyped electronic artists of the whole world. With his track Firestone, he has celebrated his breakthrough and many more hits have followed. For example, It In Me featuring Selena Gomez has surpassed 1 billion streams on Spotify in September. But the musician made not only headlines as DJ, but also as entrepreneur. He started his own company, Kygo Live, which focuses on headphones, earphones, and speakers under the brand name X by Kygo. So thank you for joining us today and for being part of this experience. It's so good to have you here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So your career started, if one wants to say so, at age 6 when you started playing the piano. So what would you say, how important was your early musical education for your work later on?
It's definitely very important. I wouldn't be able to make the music I make today if I didn't play the piano when I was younger. So that's kind of, when it all started. And I started, composing my own melodies on the piano. And that's, how I start every song is basically on the piano. So it's very important. It's, essential that I know how to play the piano.
So, but before you started producing music full time, you decided to study business and finance and later eventually dropped out. So why did you start to study and why didn't you finish it?
Well, that was obviously, my dream was to do music, but I thought it was going to be impossible. There was so many bedroom producers out there that were doing the exact same thing as I was doing. And there were so many talented people. So I thought, it's going to be impossible for me to break through. So I kind of started studying as a, backup plan. It was kind of, the grown up in me that was like, I need something else than just this dream. So I started studying business and finance in Edinburgh in Scotland, which was, fun. But I did, always have the dream of music, in the back of my head. And I was, making music for hours every day. And then during my second year, things started happening online with my music. And I got in touch with my now manager, Miles Shear. I started playing a couple of DJ shows. And then by the end of my second year, I had a sold out US tour where I played, small venues. And that's when I decided that I'm going to go, drop out and go all in for music, because that's what I really wanted to do.
Well, that sounds pretty easy going, but how difficult was it for you to establish your own musical genre?
That was, it's definitely, difficult to, try to not sound like everyone else, because you feel like, as I said, there was so many music producers, bedroom music producers that were doing exactly the same thing as I was doing. But I guess at one point during, when I was studying, I tried to I felt like I couldn't sound like everyone else, and it's never going to happen if I sound like everyone else. So I just spent hours and hours every day experimenting with new sounds and new styles of music, going down in tempo, just experimenting with everything. And then I guess it kind of just happened when I found this sound that I really liked, that I played my melodies with, that became kind of my signature sound. And then from that sound, it kind of just evolved. And a lot of other producers out there started, making the same kind of music. And then suddenly, a new genre was born. But I don't know, it's hard to say that it definitely isn't easy to, start a musical genre. But I guess I was never trying to start a genre. I was just trying to sound different and unique. And then it kind of just happened.
Okay. So, and as I mentioned, you had your breakthrough with the hit Firestone. Walk us through what it felt like for you.
Well, that was definitely, Firestone is still, it's the first original song I released. I was doing a lot of these remixes that I put out on SoundCloud. So that was kind of the start. And then Firestone was my first, big single that I released together with Sony. I just signed with Sony at the time. And that, obviously felt incredible. I was very nervous. It was my first song that I was going to release. I didn't, know if people were going to like it. but obviously the response was amazing, and that song, became way bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. And yeah, it was just an incredible feeling to, see that such response on my music.
So what would you say, which skills were most important for you to making it as an artist?
Well, obviously for me, I'm focused on the music. As we talked about, being for me to be able to play the piano makes it so much easier for me to actually create music. But if you want to, make it, it's obviously talent is one thing. You got to, be able to make music. You got to make good songs, but then you also got to promote it. And I guess that's where my manager, Miles, he, at the time in the beginning when I was doing remixes, he he's a really good, marketing guy. I'm not really a marketing guy. I kind of hate promoting my own stuff because I feel like it's kind of awkward to go out there and promote your own music. So I had kind of Miles, he was the one doing a lot of this marketing. And we were using music blogs, promoting, my songs through music blogs. And that was kind of before, I don't think the labels and the big artists at the time kind of realized how big of an impact music blogs had in the music. Like just the way we promoted it through music blogs, I saw the numbers were just exploding. So I think obviously, you gotta be able to make music, and you gotta market it. You gotta get it out to as many people as possible. So I think that was like the two most important things in the beginning of my career.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, you started producing your remixes without asking for permission. So what lessons could you share for young aspiring artists and entrepreneurs from that time?
Well, from that time, it was obviously a different time. That was kind of before the labels kind of went to war against all this, copyright things. That was like, I wasn't even aware, of all the copyright stuff at that time. It wasn't, a big discussion. So the way I did it, I was just, making unofficial remixes that I put out, and obviously for free, because, making money of someone else's, song without them, getting a cut of it would obviously be wrong. But right now you wouldn't be able to do what I did back then, because there's so much more focus on the copyright things, which I guess is good in some kind of way, but I think also, getting remixes, if let's say if 1,000 people remix Firestone, that would obviously help me, the original song grow as well. So I think it's good things and it's bad things that you can't do that anymore. Because I did like that, back in 2013, 14, there were so many producers having fun with just different vocals. And usually, remixes just helps promote the original song. But I guess, yeah, it's definitely a different time right now. But the way I did it was obviously just making remixes, putting it out for free, and just, as people started following my Facebook page and my SoundCloud page, and it just kind of grew from like online.
Yeah. So talking about different times, we are now in the midst of a global pandemic. So how has the pandemic affected your musical career?
Well, it's definitely been a big, impact, because I haven't been able to, play any shows since March. So it's been a very different year. I'm kind of lucky because I can obviously work from home. I love to make music back home. I don't really have to, go anywhere to make music. So for me, it's been kind of, a year where I've been able to spend so much time back home and just, going back to kind of my roots back in 2013, where I'm just experimenting again in the studio. So I've been kind of, enjoying it a little bit, but obviously I do miss the shows, and hopefully, it's gonna, get back to normal pretty soon, so we can do shows again.
So as I mentioned, you're not only a musician, but also an entrepreneur. Why did you decide to start your own company?
Well, that was kind of, obviously I'm interested in sound, and the initial idea started with, I been listening to, so many different, using so many different brands of headphones, and I've always had, something to say, like, that I wanted to change. I wanted it was too much bass, it was too much, high frequencies. So I guess that's where the idea came from, that I kind of wanted to try to make my own high quality headphone brand, um, where I can be able to be part and decide how they're gonna sound, how they're gonna look, and just be part of that whole process. That just sounded very, interesting to me, and that's been, a lot of fun to do, together with the music, obviously, but to just, be able to be part of that whole process, and obviously also learn, more stuff about how you actually run a business. I obviously have like a team of people that helps me. I'm not involved in, the whole, day-to-day process, but it's definitely been, fun for me to get an insight in, a different world than just music.
How difficult or easy was it to enter the crowded market of headphones and earphones?
It's definitely, difficult, because it's definitely a crowded market. There's a lot of, big headphone brands that, have good products. So, but I guess you can compare with the music. You gotta, if you wanna, obviously music is also a very crowded market. There's so many producers, so many artists. You just gotta try to do something different. You can't just try to sound like, another artist. You gotta try to sound like, find your own sound. And that's the same with the headphones. We're focusing on not just, looking the same. The design can't just be the same as every other headphone. The sound, we obviously gotta try to have better sound, or definitely a different sound than the other headphones. So I guess it's about trying to be unique, in both worlds.
Will the company always be close to the core brand of Kygo lifestyle and music, or will you diversify your portfolio?
I guess we gotta take it kind of day by day. The plan is obviously now to, focus on the sound, to focus on headphones, to focus on, maybe speakers. But obviously I'm open for anything in the future. We got to see if, opportunities opens up, and we can expand and do maybe different stuff. We had, in the beginning, we had like clothes as well. That was like, I felt like it was too much work, and it was too many products for me to actually be able to follow up everything, and while I'm touring. So now we decided to only focus on, high quality audio products. But maybe one day I'll go back to that, creating, clothes and more high quality, not just, merchandise as every artist is selling. Maybe do something, go back to high quality clothes as well.
Awesome. So what's the red thread connecting your activities as an entrepreneur and as a musician?
I guess for me, it's like every time I do something, I want to do it, I want to go, all in 100%. And that's also, for me, it was very important that, things, if I'm going to try to sell something to my fans that like my music, I want it to be high quality products. If I'm going to put my name, my artist name on a product, I want it to be something that I'm proud of. And so I don't want to sell something, just to make money. I really want everything that I'm doing to be, quality. And it's the same with, a song. I wouldn't release a song that I'm not 100% happy with. So I guess I have the same, concept of everything that I'm doing. If it's, the audio product, if it's the merchandise, if it's, even putting on a show. If I'm playing a show, I want everyone that, buys a ticket to come see a show. I wanted them to be, blown away and getting more than they expected. So I guess that's kind of, by my goal with everything. I want to put my soul into, everything that I'm doing. And if I'm selling something to my fans, I really want it to be something that I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm. So coming now to my last questions, and since we are at the Under 30 meetup, I would like to ask you, how was it for you to be on the Forbes Under 30 list in 2017?
Well, that was obviously a very cool moment. It was unexpected. And, you know, obviously for me to just be on a list with so many, you know, talented young people that are doing what they love, it was definitely an honor. So I'm just very happy and thankful.
So thank you for giving us many insights and for sharing your lessons learned. And I'm pretty sure we are all curious about how your journey as an entrepreneur will continue, and we are looking forward to your next hit. Thank you for being part of this experience.
Thanks for having me.